Abiding citizen. What's that, bro?
This is Law 17 hat.
Oh, okay. Cause I was about to say, I'm surprised you don't have that L is not on there. He got options.
He got options. He got
Abiding citizen.
Yeah, this is part of the first collection, I think. So, but he's pretty heavy on the signature L now.
Okay.
But this is early on. He was messing around.
I'm gonna have to get Duke on here one time because I see him doing his thing.
Yeah, he doing his thing, man.
I'm from the outside looking in. I see him doing his thing. I'm like taking notes too.
Yeah, he been doing this thing, man. He's tapped in with the fashion, and he's trying to get that off the ground.
Both of y'all.
Yeah. Him more so on the business side, me just on the style side.
Okay. So you guys are partnering up in the fashion game, or?
Yeah, we are. We are planning to partner up on something very soon. More athletic, more athleisure. Yeah, the name of that will be Kinetic. So, yeah, Kinetic.
You just gonna give it out like that? 'Cause somebody's gonna be like,
yeah, I mean,
Kinetic.
Yeah, it's all.
It'll be different regardless.
It's all good, man.
Kinetic. What's that mean?
Well, it's really. Have you ever seen like an energy sign? Like there's an energy sign. It's like a cross. It's like a cylinder, and then another cylinder, and they make like an X.
I'm gonna have to Google that and post it.
Yeah. It's all about just keeping the energy in motion. So things in motion that stay in motion. That's like our saying. So
that looks like your training style.
Yeah.
Like as far as motion.
Yeah, for sure. Things in I love movement. You know, I am. We're all athletes, right? But I love sports performance. Man.
You talking about people in general, or me and you?
I think all of us in here.
I want to see Rudy and Bill in action after this.
Yeah. We all athletes. You know, I mean, how they decide to use their body. You know, the phrase holds true. If you don't use it, you lose it. You know, so like, you know, based off of what they do when they're not behind the camera will determine how they'll you know perform when it's time.
True.
You know?
Okay.
But they're both athletes. We're all athletes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like how you put that because we all gotta move.
We all gotta move. We all know how to walk forward, walk backwards, push to side. That's what athletes do. Right?
You're right.
If there's something in your way, you know how to hop over.
Coming from an athlete, I'm listening.
Yeah, you know how to hop over something. Right? We're all athletes. Like how far we want to push that envelope, that's completely up to us.
Okay.
Completely up to us. Now, some of us are born with other skill sets, of course, sure.
You?
Right? Yeah, of course. I was born fast.
For real?
Yeah. I was born fast, you know.
How do we compete with that?
I mean, you could work on your speed, right? But some things you can't compete with. Genetics you cannot compete with.
Okay, you're right about
You know what I'm saying?
Like compete with yourself.
like I could work as hard as I want and eat as clean as I want, and my body probably will never be as ripped as yours, you know? Your genetics are different than mine.
Different.
They're different. Not saying whose is better. I'm just saying they're different.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Max Your Mind. I'm Max Philisaire, and we got Omar Bolden in the building.
What's the dilly?
Man, it's great. I'm grateful to have you over here, bro. I gotta pick your brain. Like, I know we've trained before. Like, I wasn't ready. Like, low key, I was not ready. You know, like he's like, do you even lift weights? I was like, I don't really do these type of movements. But I seen you in action. Like the last video you posted, that should be your brand.
Yeah.
You know what video I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what video you're talking about.
I seen it. I was like, that's him. So the whole video should be you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been working with that brand very closely for like the past 3 years, and I would love to take our relationship, you know, our business relationship to another level for sure. You know, so
yeah, that's a must.
Yeah, man, for sure. You know, I don't try to rush things though. You know, when the timing is right. You know what I'm saying?
Good attitude.
I think you know, before anybody could really do serious business with one another, you know, it's about developing a relationship and a foundation first. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have no foundation to stand on, then there's no reason to move forward. Because the last thing I want to do is get in business with somebody that I don't know is solid. Right. You know, and vice versa. I'm pretty sure people don't want to get in business with me unless they know I'm solid.
True.
You know, my physical appearance may not come off as the most trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? Shit, my skin is dark. I got tattoos. I got dreads. You know, we just talking. We talking in general.
Right.
We talking in general. I'm not talking about anybody in here, but we talking like if I walk down the street, somebody gonna be a little nervous. It sounds funny, but
like,
I see it. You know.
Right.
So
you're aware.
I'm aware. You're aware too. You're a black man.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying. You know
of
what it
course.
is.
I mean, I write stories. I create characters.
Yeah,
So,
you know what it is.
but like we're speaking of foundation, you know, you're a Super Bowl champ. Super Bowl 50, right?
Super Bowl 50.
50.
Yeah.
I liked some story about the inception, like how you got into football.
Yeah.
How you became a champ. Like that's a whole episode on its own.
Yeah, man. I started football at 13, which is maybe a little late for
you
some
from
people.
LA?
Outside of LA, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
I'm home.
This is home.
This is home for me. Yeah, this is home for me. So, but I grew up with hoop dreams. I wanted to play in the NBA, you know. And
you were nice?
I don't know about that. I didn't play long enough to get nice, you know. But from my adolescent years, you know, I always knew I wanted to be a pro athlete, you know. And initially started with the dream of playing in the NBA. And then I had a cousin who was two cousins that were playing flag football at the time. And I went to one of their games. Yeah. And one of the coaches just let me hop in. He was like, yo, you want to play? And I was like, yeah, I want to play. I've been wanting to play for the longest. My dad really kind of kept me out of football. It was like really pushing me to basketball.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
I don't know. I think the physicality around the sport.
Or the risk.
The risk, you know. You know, I ended up playing some flag football, and at that moment I was like, oh, I really love this sport. You know, I didn't really understand it or really know how to play. But one thing, as I mentioned earlier, you know, I was born with speed.
Right.
You know, so like when I got on that football field, you know, I began to feel free, right? Because I could really, you know, run as fast as I want, you know, and there were other players out there that I was competing against that I was like, oh damn, I'm faster, you know?
Like,
I realized that the speed was working in my advantage,
right.
you know. So I ended up turning 13. I convinced my mom to sign me up behind my dad's back, and the rest is history, man. I think I dropped the basketball the moment I picked up the football.
It was for you.
Yeah, it was for me. And I think I took a year off because I played for the city. We didn't have enough kids that signed up, so really my freshman year in high school was really my, you know, I played a year before that, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
You know,
having fun.
I'm just having fun. And I got to high school. Actually, once I got to high school, I was still having fun. I didn't even realize that football could take me to college, so I was a junior in high school. What's crazy is I didn't even think about going to college. You know what's funny is I always thought I would be a pro athlete, but for some reason in my mind I just skipped the college part. Like I don't know. Like in my mind there was no like, however long that period was, right. It was just blank. You know, it was just okay, we about to go to high school, train, perform, go to the league, get paid. You know, but obviously that's not the case. So I did well in high school. I did really well, and ended up going to Arizona State out of high school. Played as a true freshman there, and started to generate some real buzz. Had a great sophomore year. Came back my junior year, got hurt my junior year.
What happened?
I tore my MCL at practice on some fluke shit. It was trash. I ran into another player. Just whack. So I tore my MCL there.
I had you out for a minute?
Had me out for like 6 weeks or something like that. But I took a hell of a chance. I rolled the dice on myself. I was like, I think we had a new trainer at the time, a new athletic trainer for like injuries and stuff like that. And he was like, hey, listen, man. He gave me some real game. And I know most athletic trainers don't talk to athletes like this. And maybe he saw something in me or he knew about my potential, you know. Mm-hmm. But he pulled me in his office and he was like, hey, man, if there is a way for you to come back next year as a junior if you don't practice again. If you don't practice, you can't play, right? And if you do that, you could have a chance of getting your year back. And I was like, okay. So, like I said, I had missed 6 weeks. But sorry to kind of digress, but the season, we were like 4 weeks into the season when I got hurt. So I missed 6 weeks, so that's 10 weeks. There's only 12 weeks in college season, right? So I would have came back week 11, healthy. But I didn't feel like I didn't want that. I would have only gotten 5 games out of my junior year, you know, and I needed more time. I needed to put more out there. So, you know, because obviously my goal was to make it to the NFL.
Right.
So I want to put the best things out on tape, you know.
Okay.
And I didn't have enough time, you know. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna listen to what the trainer talking about. I went to practice, but I went in street clothes.
Okay.
I went every day in street clothes, and you know, coaches could try to influence you to do, you know, what they want to do, but ultimately, you know, the player has like all the power, and that's something I learned in that moment, you know. And they'll try to influence you and scare you, you know, with their words and their tactics.
They wanted you to play. Practice?
They wanted me to play. They wanted me to play, but they wanted me to play for selfish reasons. Now, it wasn't for my reason. It wasn't because they knew that, you know, it was going to help my career. They knew I was going to help the team.
Yeah.
You know, but that wouldn't have helped my career. You know, I would have lost an entire year just trying to help, you know, some coaches that they're not even there no more. You know, they've you know, so it's like that was one moment in my career where I realized, you know, you got to always look out for yourself. You know, the player got to take care of himself first and foremost. So anyways, I rolled the dice. I hit 7, right? I get the year back. I come back as a.
You said you hit 7.
I mean, like if I'm rolling the dice, you know, you hit 7
okay.
or 11. Yeah, I hit 7, right? So I hit 7, and I come back the next year as a junior again. And I'm a redshirt junior. This may sound a little confusing for you or maybe your listeners, but
taking notes.
But in college, you have 4 years. Every player has 5 years of eligibility, right? But technically, if you were to count freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, that's only 4 years, right? So every player or student athlete that comes into college has the option to take a redshirt year when they first get there, which just means that they're going to school, they're going to class, and they're going to practice, but they're not competing, right? So the year of their eligibility on the field doesn't start until year 2, right? So because I played as a true freshman, meaning I played right away, when I got there, I had played 1 year, sophomore year, junior year I got hurt. I still had that year of eligibility, so I applied it to my 4th year. So instead of coming back as a senior, I came back as a junior again. All right, so I bought myself another year, right, which was like, when I look back, it was genius. All right, because I come back my junior year, I'm much more confident, right? Because anytime you have an injury, you get to take time away from the game and like dive into it mentally, right? Because physically, the talent has always been there, right? But like what separates good players from great players is just their mental capacity, right? Because everyone's gifted, you know. I'm playing at a Division I college. Everyone's gifted on the field, right? It's very similar to the NFL. Everyone's great, right? How do you separate yourself? You got to be smarter than the next man, right? How do I put myself in a better position than you? If we're the same speed, same size, I got to know what you're doing before you do it.
More strategic.
I got to be more strategic. So I came back to the game more strategic and a smarter player. And, you know, that was really my best year of football. I had the opportunity to leave, to enter the NFL, the draft. And I got an evaluation back from the NFL that said I was projected to be drafted in the 4th round. I felt like I was first-round talent. I'm like, man, that's trash, man. Like, all right, you know what? It doesn't feel right for me to leave. I'm going to come back to school. I'm going to go back to school as a senior because I want to boost my draft status because I want to be drafted in the 1st round.
Is that a risk to do that?
It's a risk. Hell yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk, but I thought the reward outweighed the risk because the difference between 1st round and 4th round is $2 million.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or more, right? You know, we talking real money. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, all right, well, let's go roll the dice again. You know, we rolled the dice before. Let's bet on yourself. So I did that. This time I wasn't so lucky. You know, I ended up injuring myself in the springtime. I ended up tearing my ACL, actually. Tearing my ACL, bam, can't even compete. Takes me out for the whole season.
Was that during training or?
This was during the spring. So it was like around this time.
Okay.
It was like around this time, and it was actually in April. Takes me out from whole senior year. Bam. So now I don't even play. So now I can't even take advantage of the opportunity that I awarded myself by coming back. So that was a frustrating time, very trying time in my life. You know, at that moment I had exactly 9 months from the date that I tore my ACL to the day of the draft, right? And for you or your listeners, you know, an ACL injury typically takes 9 to 12 months to recover, you know, and I needed to be 100%, ready to go within 6. It was a very tough task, very, very challenging time, and but I was able to persevere through that moment, those moments, and
So you recovered quickly?
No, I didn't recover quickly. It took me some time. I ended up getting drafted in the 4th. This is crazy. I still ended up getting drafted in the 4th round, right?
Even though you didn't play?
Even though I didn't play, which is why I would never encourage an athlete to stay in school. Nah, you could always come back to school, right? Take your chance, fam. Take your chance, because, I got drafted in the 4th round, but I never really feel like I returned back to the player that I once was, because of the injury. But yeah, I ended up getting drafted in the 4th round, bam, and now I'm in the league, fam. So, the time is incredible. It was 2012, and Peyton Manning just comes to Denver the same year that I get drafted to Denver, and I'm like, all right, man, we're in a good situation.
When you said you were never the same player, you didn't fully recover?
But by the time I recovered, was like midway through my rookie year, like back to my original self. But because I wasn't like my original self going into training camp, the opportunities that I really didn't get the opportunities to compete for the job that I wanted to ever again.
Rookie
year, and then the business side of football takes over. Like NFL is a business. And every year, so I got drafted in the 4th round. The next year, they drafted a guy at my position in the 3rd round, right? So it's a round ahead of me, and just because it's business, he's got to get more opportunities than me. And the following year, they draft another guy at my position in the 1st round, So now me from the 4th round and homie from the 3rd round, we both get pushed out the way.
What position?
Corner.
Okay.
Corner. And that's just the nature of the business. Unfortunately, once you reach the NFL or NBA or pro baseball or any pro sports, like a lot of the game goes out the window. It's a lot of if the team is financially invested in you, more than another player, they're going to give
business at the end of the day.
It's business. Business is business.
Right. So which position did you prefer over corner?
Well, I would have loved to play corner, but unfortunately for me, I got moved around quite a bit. Well, not fortunately, it was pretty good. I guess that's something to say about my skill set. But I mainly played safety while I was there, but I would have loved the opportunity to really play corner.
Okay.
Like that's what I got drafted as, and I never really had that opportunity in the NFL. So, but it's like a first world problem, man. Like I was able to win a Super Bowl. I went to 2 Super Bowls, won one, and built relationships that'll last a lifetime. And, football set me up or gave me a great head start on life.
How has it transformed your mind? Because like early on, you wanted sports. You like basketball, and then football. But then when you started football, you like pro athlete, NFL. That's all you were thinking about. So how did you evolve during that process or after that process, that journey?
I would say that I developed a mindset of, I think I was on the path of developing a mindset to being a pro early on in my life, before I could even really understand what I was really doing. I knew I was working hard, but, like I remember being in high school and getting up 5 a.m. in the morning. My dad's on the way to work. He's on the way out the house, and he's asking me what I'm up for. I'm like, I'm headed to the school. I got to go work out before school start, And I remember, I remember him looking at me like, he gave me this look like, oh, you different, It was an awkward moment, not an awkward, but it was just a moment between my dad and I, where I kind of felt like, okay, maybe I am doing something right, So like doing things like that, right, helped set me apart from my competition, in high school. And I realized by doing extra work or being more dedicated or more disciplined than the next man, right, will help me achieve the goals that I wanted to achieve, right? So I take that mindset with me into college. That mindset gets me to the NFL, okay? So now I'm in the NFL, and I still have the same mindset. Unfortunately for me, my NFL career ended just like my college career due to injuries, right? So now I'm back into the real world, I still have the same mindset, right? So I've still adopted the things that never left me is everyone always talks about hard work, but I try not to ever mention that because Anybody could work hard one time, right? It's about consistency.
Make it a lifestyle.
Make it a lifestyle. Make it a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you worked hard. Okay, but for how many days? Okay, how many months?
Like, it sounds nice. Like,
how many years? You know, anybody could come out here and say they worked hard today. That's, man, be consistent, right? So things like consistency, discipline, and dedication are things that I took with me into the real world, you know. And it's crazy because my career ends in 27 years old, right? I got a few dollars in my pocket, but I'm not like uber rich, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's buying me some time to figure some things out, but I'm like at ground zero, you know? Imagine like a college student, you know, leaving college at 22, 23, trying to figure out what they're going to do in life. You know, right. That's where I was at 27. Because, you know, when I left college, I went straight to football, right? So my real life hasn't really started, you know? Right. Don't get me wrong, like playing football, it's amazing. I'm living out my dream, right? But at some point, every player, every pro athlete has to transition back
into aspects of life.
To the real world. You got to get back into the real world. It doesn't matter how, even if you got sitting on 20 million, right? You got to do something that, you know, that you're passionate about. Otherwise, you're just going to be bored, you know, with life. So, yeah, I took that same mindset and just decided to carve out a new life for myself.
How was that transition mentally? Was it easy? Like,
Hell no.
What were your thoughts?
It was tough. It was tough. It was so tough, you know. Really not knowing what to do with myself, you know. And I'm so used to having a schedule from 7 to 7, you know. Everything's lined up out for me. Very, very structured, almost like militant, almost, you know, and going to like a free structure now where I have to figure out what type of structure I want in my life and then implement it.
And what works.
And what works and what doesn't, you know, and then find other things that I'm passionate about, you know. So that took some time, which was, you know, great that, you know, I had made a few dollars from the NFL because I like I said, that shit bought me some time. Right. So like when I finished playing in the league, I thought like I wanted to do fashion. So shit, I rolled the dice. I invested in myself. I moved to New York. I started working with a startup company for free. Like I wasn't making any money. I just wanted to experience. I wanted to see if that was what I wanted to do. Right. You know? And I took the same shit that I'm doing now. Get up early, take your ass to the gym, get to work on time, absorb as much information as you can, apply it to your life. Right?
How was New York?
It was incredible. It was incredible. It was one of the greatest things I ever did.
You didn't stay though?
No, I didn't stay. It was really expensive. And at the time, you know, not even at the time, I knew I wanted to live here. Okay. I knew I wanted to live here. But there was something about New York that I just wanted to experience that. I wanted to live there. I wanted to get on the ground with real people. And then just develop an East Coast network.
The fashion game is crazy over there.
It's crazy, you know? So it was like, shit, if fashion is what I want to do and that's the mecca in the United States, then I better take my ass there. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be in that environment. You know what I'm saying? So I could rub shoulders with the right people. You know what I'm saying? And brush elbows with the right people. Otherwise, you know, how else am I going to create opportunities? You know, like opportunities come to those who are actively pursuing them, right? You can't just wish and hope for opportunities.
You got to take initiative.
You got to take initiative, fam. You got to take initiative. So that's what I did, man. I moved to New York and, you know, ultimately ended up moving back. But that experience alone was incredible. It was so important for the next phase of my life. Yeah.
And so, like, with the way you train now, like, I know you got the app.
Yep.
It's
X2.
X2.
Yep.
I can't keep up your workouts. Every time you make a post, it's like a different workout. Like, are you creating these workouts? Like,
yeah,
you customizing new exercises I make? Because I'm seeing movements that I'm like.
Yeah. You know, I try to do things that I think would translate to sports performance. You know, okay. So like, yeah. I mean, and then also too, right? Some of the things that I do are for myself, right? To keep things fun and fresh for me, right? But a lot of things that people see from me may not be best for, you know, the average person, right?
Okay.
I think a lot of the content that I post, one of my biggest goals is to create that wow factor, right?
Like, you look like you train for combat.
Because I know that's going to get people to say, oh, wow, you know, and
engagement,
you know, and that's what we're both in the social space, you know, we got to learn how to play. We're playing a new game, You know, well, actually it's a wild, wild west right now.
Yeah.
Like there's really no rules. In like 20 years, people are gonna look back and be like, damn, I made a shit ton of money from social media, or some people are gonna say I did and whatever. But the game's gonna change. They gonna at some point, you know, they're gonna find a way to cap it. What's going on here
true.
right now? It's the wild, wild west though. It's crazy.
It's still in birth stage.
Yeah, but still in birth stage. Right? Like we live in a beautiful time because right now we're in the heat of it. You know. But like in 20 years, it won't be like what it is right now.
Something else will start. You know,
something else gonna start.
Innovation.
Yeah, for sure. And then like, just like the government gets a hold of like marijuana, the marijuana business, right? Now they take a cut of everything, right? But eventually they're gonna get a hold of the social media business, right? Do you think these big corporations and huge Fortune 500 companies enjoy watching these influencers generate all this revenue from?
But if the influencers are making this much money, how much are they making off the influencers?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. I
billions.
mean, you would hope. But I mean,
Facebook,
I'll
Twitter.
be the first to tell you that shit, followers don't equate to sales.
Oh, I learned that big time.
You know what I'm saying? So you would hope. I don't know. Who knows?
It's a different language.
Absolutely.
Different presentation. Like I personally don't like to sell because I feel like if somebody's interested in what I'm offering, they'll come. I'll just let them know.
But how do they know that you're selling?
Good.
You know what I'm saying? How does someone know that
I had to learn that.
And that's the tough thing about it. It's like you know, generally speaking, like we're modest individuals, right? We don't want to just be throwing shit in everyone's face every day. But
because
like,
I don't want that. I don't like when people do that to me. So
right. But then again, you'll watch TV. I don't have cable, but I once did. And if you have cable, shit, same commercial comes on 4 or 5 times within 1 hour of a show that you're watching. And you never say anything about it.
It took me a while to look at myself.
We got to have that same type of mindset when we come to like
our own brands.
Because who else gonna push? Who gonna push your brand more than you?
No one.
No one's gonna push X2 more than me. No one. So I gotta push it. I have to put you. You have to push your brand. You know. So, I mean, those are things we're just learning now. You know,
crazy.
there's not like there's a course. I wish there was a course for this. You know, and you could take it, but it's so new.
You take the course and it changes, and you gotta adapt. That's so like Wild Wild West right now.
Wild Wild West. But I mean, the best teacher is experience. So like, I'm glad that we're in the heat of it. You know what I'm saying? Learning. You know, because at some point we're gonna have a grasp on exactly what's going on, and you're gonna know how to maximize your potential.
And we'll be teaching somebody else.
Yeah, for sure.
What is fitness to you? Because when I see you train, you look like you're in like therapy mode. Like it looks like that's something you gotta have, but that's from the outside looking in. What's fitness for you?
It's definitely it's my escape for sure. It's definitely therapy for me. And I pretty much work out by myself all the time.
You prefer it?
No, I don't prefer it. But you know, due to the current climate, you know, and then I built the gym at the crib, so like it's
the Humble Gym is called
the Humble Gym.
The Humble Gym.
Humble Gym is pretty easy for me just to go outside and get that work, and also too like working out with other people is incredible. That's one thing I miss about being at a gym. You know, like
that energy
pre-COVID is that energy, but also like working out with other people. I have to like coordinate times. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot for me. You know, I got a lot of stuff going on, so I try to link up with people and work, but sometimes it's just much easier for me to get my work in when this certain window that I have right now, because I got X, Y, and Z later on in the day.
Right.
You know, so
you want to share about some of your projects or goals for 2021?
One of my biggest goals is to do more on-screen entertainment. So like
digital content.
I'm working on a short myself, but I want to do more acting. I really want to like.
You got the personality.
Yeah, I think I got the personality. But I need to sharpen my skills for sure. Mm-hmm. You know, like I don't play anything. You know what I'm saying? Anything that I want to do, I'm gonna take it serious. You know, I respect the craft. Mm-hmm. You know, so
you get into acting classes or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I've been to acting classes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, for real. I'm one person who's gonna invest in himself and really take the time to dive in.
Who you got helping you develop this short, writing in it, producing it?
Well, I have a in-house videographer, right? And him and I, we're actually working on a short and like maybe a film, maybe a cartoon. I don't know what it's gonna be, but we got 2 projects that we're working on for sure. Yeah. One of those projects is me, him, my girl together, and another one is just him and I working on it together.
If you want any help with the short, let me know. I like to.
For sure, man. The more the merrier, because I don't know what I'm doing.
I've done it. I've shot 3 short films, and not saying I have all the experience, but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And, looking forward to.
You write?
Write, direct. I'm mainly a creative producer, so like I wrote my 3 projects, but in the future I'd partner with an experienced screenwriter to develop something. Yeah. Because like writers write all week. Me, I write just to like have something to produce. And direct. I direct, but again, I would get a more experienced director to come on board.
For sure.
Like I'm more like I would say like a producer that brings the crew and cast together like creatively.
Yeah.
And that's.
I mean, that's a skill too.
There's no project unless
in order like, to bring the right people in. That's like a head coach.
Yeah.
Right.
So I enjoy
Make sure you got the right people in place. Yeah.
So let me know when you guys need some help.
Nah, for sure.
Even if it's just a phone call, yo, we're doing this. Like,
no, I'm definitely gonna tap in with you, bro, and just pick your brain.
Yeah, like taking initiative, creating. It's you already know like that brings up more opportunities.
Yeah.
And with the digital platform, it's Wild Wild West right now. It's like it's a fireplace and it needs content every day,
daily.
And congratulations on Nice and Neat podcast.
Oh, thank you, bro.
You, Duke, and Jalen started that. How long y'all been planning for this podcast?
We've been planning this podcast. We've probably been talking about it for like 2 years now.
Because I seen Duke and who else?
Osama J.
Yeah, they did some lives where they were talking about relationships and stuff. I tuned in. I was like, this is great. Like I haven't seen a lot of brothers get on a digital platform and just like share vulnerable information and
for sure
truth about themselves and relationships, about men. And I was like, so the podcast is like is a good move. And I've watched every episode so far.
Thank you,
good
bro.
content.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Keep that up.
Yeah, man. We started that. The thought probably started about 2-3 years ago. Prior to living with my girl, me and Duke were roommates for 3 years. So you
guys go back.
These conversations that we're having on Nice and Neat, man, we've been having these for years. Like challenging conversation. Like talking through scenarios all the time. That was something Duke and I did on a regular. Like, okay, so. What happened? What would you do if this happened? Or what would you? We always want to talk scenarios, just so we're always. I think part of the reason that people become so successful in life is because they're prepared, right? So like my biggest thing, or excuse me, our biggest thing was always like, how can we be as prepared as possible?
Right.
And you learn through sports that you prepare for as much as you possibly can. That's how you stay prepared. Anything that someone possibly can and will do probably will happen.
What is it about you two that even wanted to talk about preparation? And it's like sometimes, bros, we just talk about now, and
I think just trying to create a new social stigma around black men. You know what I'm saying? It's like
we don't talk enough.
Why not?
And we're not.
And what's
honest,
wrong? And what's wrong?
With each other.
Yeah. And what's wrong with that? It's okay to be vulnerable. You can still be a manly man and be vulnerable.
That's part of it.
That's part of it.
I believe.
That is part of it. It's like, it's okay to show empathy to the next person. You don't always have to be so cold and tough. It's okay to tap in with your emotions. And that's the one thing we want to bring to the forefront, So yeah, that's another. And then Jelon, and Jelon we've all been friends for 7-8 years now, So, prior to Jelon just being our friend and brother, he was our barber.
Right.
So like,
I remember the last time I was there, he was already having these type of conversation with like people there.
Yeah, I mean, think about how intimate that time is when you get a haircut, right? He's having those conversations 12 times a day with 12 different people,
right?
It's like
you guys had some practice.
We had practice without it. We've been preparing for the moment, So we're finally glad that we're here and it's all come to fruition. And the episodes are now rolling out.
Yeah,
so.
we appreciate your shooting that content and sharing that value.
Yeah, thank you, bro, for the
Taking initiative.
yeah.
Big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
That's a big one.
because speaking of initiative, have you heard of I Am Athlete?
I love I Am Athlete. I Am Athlete is one of our biggest inspirations.
Likewise.
It's huge. It's great. It's great. I love that podcast. I just watched it. Excuse me. I just watched the podcast last night. The newest episode with Cam Newton.
I got to catch up on that one.
Yeah.
But I that's new to me. I'm like, me on YouTube watching podcast episodes is something new to me. But I'm like, the value is there. I'm not getting that on TV.
Yeah. I mean,
and I don't watch.
That's why I don't have cable. That's why I don't have cable, bro, because I like to have control of what I'm going to consume.
Right.
When you have cable TV, sometimes you just turn it on and just be a bunch of bullshit just be on. Like, I'd rather nothing be on if it's just going to be bullshit.
Right. It's got to be some substance.
It's going to be some substance, Is it going to educate me? Is it going to inspire me? Motivate me? What is it going to do for my mental space?
Right.
Is it going to put me at peace? Because if so, I'm down. But if it's going to taint my peace, or make me uninspired, or make me drift. I don't want to drift.
Right.
I don't want to drift, man.
Definitely got to be
watchful. I don't want to get lost
watchful.
in idle time. Time is we all know it's the one thing we can't get back. So it's the most expensive thing we have, So I want to be very specific with what I'm consuming, what I'm digesting.
It's good that you're aware of the influence of what you're digesting. 'Cause a lot of us are not.
Well, I mean, I'm human too. So sometimes I'm not as well, but I try to be as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like
it takes work.
Yeah, for sure. Even Instagram, like, one thing I've been doing as of late, which the homie just told me about, there's an option on your search. If you hold down a picture, like not a search, on the Explore page. Explore page be a bunch of.
Oh yeah, you can click. I don't like this.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Oh, the homie just put me onto that. Oh, that's game changing.
That
That's
helped
game
me out a
changing.
lot.
Man, listen. All I want to see is fashion and other people out here working hard in their fitness. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see nothing else.
There's a lot of distractions.
There's a lot of distractions, and I'm so happy that Instagram put a tool like that in place. So if you don't want to be distracted, you
cut back.
You got all the power.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And even with the people we follow, it's like, is the people you follow people that you want to network, collaborate with, that inspire you, help you progress anywhere in life, or are you just following people just because you got a follow option? Right? That's another thing where I focus on it, because like we spend a lot of times on our phones, and it's like naturally over time it's just like automatic. Like, let me just see what's going on right quick.
Yeah.
So I curate what I'm seeing as much as possible.
Yeah, same.
Relationships. You married?
No, I'm not married yet.
You're practically married.
I'm single married.
Single married.
I'm single married. I'm single married.
But you agree there's some marriage in there.
No,
that's a serious relationship.
I'm single. I mean, I live with my girl, right? So legally we're not married, right? Mm-hmm. But if we got married tomorrow, what would change?
Paperwork,
a ring. Other than that, like, we still gonna go to bed the same. We still gonna wake up the same. Nothing's gonna change. So, yeah, I'm basically single married.
What's some advice for the guys out here in LA, like, as far as how to conduct themselves? Like, I've heard a lot of it from you, Jalen. My audience might not have heard yet. I'll have the links in the description. But what's some advice you can give us? And like, one of the things you guys talk about is position yourself, getting yourself ready for like a serious relationship, if that's what you want as a man.
Yeah.
That's like part of the initiative.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll actually just reiterate, the 5 keys to keeping the woman you want, right? Because a lot of times people want to talk about getting a woman, right? But it's pretty easy to get the woman, right? Well, maybe it's not pretty easy to get the woman, but what's really hard is keeping the woman, right? And so the first key is be a man of your word. Right? Be who you say you're going to be, I think that's what men need to get back to, is like committing to your word. If you say you're going to be here on time, be here on time. If you say you're going to pull up for me, pull up for me. If you say you're going to take out the trash, take out the trash, whatever it is, right? Number 2 is take the initiative, right? Women don't always want to, have a man ask them what they want to do. Nah, they want to be
What we doing?
told. They want to be told, yo, get ready at 7:30. I'm gonna pick you up and I'll show you once we get there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's some ball shit. You got to take the initiative, right? What was number 3 was you got to let your woman or a woman get a sense of your ambition, right? So sometimes you may not be in the spot where you want to be financially, and that's okay. That's part of life. That's part of growing, right? But as long as the woman sees you out here hustling and trying to make it for yourself, you know what I'm saying? She's going to respect that.
Right.
Though, like, we can't overlook that. Don't overlook, like, let her see how ambitious you are. Everyone, if you go back and look at anyone's story, they all start from the bottom. Everyone start from the bottom, you know, unless you're one of the selected few who come from, you know, from money, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And you have that amazing head start in life. But for the most of us, we all start from the bottom, women too. So they understand, you know. Number 3 is, this is 3 and 4. Number 4 and 5. 4 is being able to communicate, right, effectively. And number 5 is being able to listen, which is the damn near like the same thing, right?
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But like, if you could find a way to master those 5 things, and on top of that, you know, you got good dental hygiene, you know, you carry yourself well, right? And you're respectful, you could pretty much, you know, manifest any situation you want, you know? So at least that's what I believe, you know. Those are like models we live by, you know, and that we follow.
How'd you come to grasp with these things? Like, you had some
trial
failures,
trial and error, you know. And yeah, man, I haven't always been such a polished dude either, you know. Like, there are times in my life where, you know, I probably could have handled situations a lot better, you know. And, you know, just the idea of wanting to, you know, I think a lot of times men get kind of peer pressured into like being players, you know, playboys, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
There's a lot of like societal pressure from other men. It's like,
that's true. I told this dude once I was looking for a wife. He was like, "For what?" And I was like, "For what? I mean, isn't that what?
Yeah,
that's part of life. Like,
yeah,
wife, child."
That's the same dude in high school oppressing another kid, talking about you lost your virginity yet? You ain't got none yet? What's up? You know, and it's like that type of pressure from the outside that sometimes makes people be not even who they really are.
Right, it's to fit in.
It's just to fit in. It's like, damn, that's all the homies is doing, so I guess I should do it too, you know?
And
so,
they usually got a loud mouth, loud voice.
Of course.
So I'm like, we got to speak up more, because people think, you know, we're all the same. Like, some women are like, oh, God, all men are like this. Like,
yeah. And I think, and I hate to go back to it, but, you know, that's one thing we're trying to highlight, you know, through Nice and Neat, that, you know, there are other men out here who are stand-up dudes and who see life from a different perspective.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely. How'd y'all come up with the name Nice and Neat?
Man, a big shout out to one of my former teammates, Keeb Talib, man. He used to say it all the time when we were teammates in Denver. And like one of my earliest memories with him being on the team is him just saying, "Oh yeah, that's nice and neat." You know, we may have been watching film. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's nice and neat," and I was like, "Oh, I love that.
Clean.
It's clean. It's clean. It's clean." So shout out to Keeb Talib, man. Yeah, we took that. I've been using it for 4 or 5 years now.
Was he watching football when you were saying nice and neat, or was it fashion?
No, it was football.
Okay,
it was football.
See, because now I'm like envisioning seeing some action and then seeing that, like,
yeah.
I'd like to see some action in with the Nice and Neat branding coming together.
Yeah. We're definitely working on something like that for sure. But yeah, he was literally watching a play, and maybe the movement that he was watching, maybe it was himself. I forget what it was.
That's nice and neat.
He was like, that's
like
nice
that.
and neat. Yeah.
I thought it was inspired by fashion.
No,
but like you guys are into fashion.
It kind of embodies who we are, though, in
Okay,
general.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
So that's
not
why we rolled with it. Yeah.
How'd you overcome 2020?
Oh, man, I navigated it through the best way I could, man. And you know, I think the year 2020 was like the year of pivoting. Like, can you pivot or not? You know, there's a lot of people that had
second athlete that.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, I had to be an athlete in real life. You know, I had to
mentally.
That's a better way to say it. I had to be an athlete mentally. You know, I had to transition and pivot into a new way to generate some business. You know, because for myself, you know, I've personal training in person.
Yeah.
You know, that was the bulk of my business. I was doing some social media stuff, partnerships. I was doing a little bit. I mean, I'm doing a lot now, which is I'm so thankful for. But at that time, at the start of 2020, I was just doing a few every now and again, you know. So, but the bulk of my business was generated through, you know, in person, training. So, for me, it was just like, shit, sink or swim. What are we gonna do? You know. All right, cool. Well, you know, there's always, you know, a way to solve the problem. All right, you know, everyone's sitting here identifying. Well, we know what the problem is. All right, the problem is we can't go to work. All right, well, cool. There's got to be another way.
What are the options?
What other options do I have? All right, cool. Let me look around from some people who are successful in the field that I'm in. Oh, a lot of these people are online.
Yeah.
Shit, what am I doing? I should have been online.
Yeah.
Should have been online, you know? So then I started pushing that and
Digital products.
IP. Intellectual property, man. All right, let me create me an e-guide. Bam, let me get that off the ground. Right, let me go harder into X2. Let's develop our own software. Let's get off of. We were on this platform called Playbook, you know. Yeah. So they just own the distribution, you know, and it was a great way to start. But shit, now I want something for our own. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, create like ownership is what everyone needs. You know, we want to own the rights to your content, you know, and all your intellectual property. So, I mean, that was it for us. It was like, shit, shift gears, get our ass online and punch it there, you know. Luckily for me, I got my hands in a little bit of everything. You know, I got some stuff going with my girl as well. You have to. We got to really hustle out here if you want to really make it.
Especially after what we learned from 2020, like certain doors are shut.
They're closed, but a lot of them are opening.
That's true.
Like for guys like yourself and I, man, that exist in this social space, man. There was an article written about 2020 about funding going into social. There's more funding than ever before are going into social media influencers and social media marketing for 2021 and beyond. You know, so more doors are opening. You know,
for 2021.
For 2021. For 2021. So it's just about finding what
position for that.
You got to position yourself. You're always making yourself as marketable as possible, right?
Yeah.
You know, and not making sure not to, you know, burning the bridges for yourself, you know, because what you put out there is like, once it's out there, it's out there. Yeah. You know, even if you delete it, you know what I'm saying? All it takes is one person to screenshot it and it's there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So being very cautious and aware of the image that you're creating for yourself, you know, because perception is really everything, you know, until someone can have a different perception of you than I do, right? But they don't necessarily know you, right?
Right.
So perception is everything.
It's reality.
Perception is reality until someone meets you, and then they get to know you, and then they create whatever their own perception, right? But if someone doesn't know you, you got to create that, you know, the right thing that you want them to see of you, you know. So,
public affairs, public relationship.
Yeah.
I noticed you travel a lot. What?
Yeah.
What inspired that? When did that start?
My rookie year in the NFL. My first rookie offseason, I was like, I'm out of here.
You needed a break?
Not even needed a break. I've never been anywhere.
Right.
I had never been anywhere my entire life. You know, the furthest I ever went was like Florida.
I remember hitting you up for advice. I was like, Tulum or Cabo?
Yeah, Tulum, man.
Yeah, I still haven't been to Tulum.
You went to Cabo instead?
I scheduled Tulum, but there was a hurricane, so they canceled my flights.
Damn.
So I went to Cabo instead. Still got to make it to Tulum.
Yeah. I actually haven't done. Cabo is the one hotspot in Mexico that I haven't done. But every other place in Mexico that people talk about are pretty much have hit. Right. But yeah, man, I think I went to Jamaica in 2013, and then I just started traveling really all over. I love like tropical beaches, islands,
Same.
You know, and I think at heart, you know, I'm really an island dude, you know, like. So, you know, I've been to Jamaica, Bora Bora. I went to Jamaica, Hawaii, Bora Bora.
Bro, that's on the list right there.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's so beautiful out there. Then I started venturing off to where did I go? I went to Italy. I went to South Africa. I've been to Mexico a bunch of times. But I think what inspires me is that, you know, my dad My dad is 77 years old. He's never been out the country, right? I'm trying now more than ever to get him out the country. But
He's not interested? He's not interested?
He's interested. He's older, so he's more concerned with the virus than I am. My main goal is to get him out the country, like off of U.S. soil ASAP. But what I was getting at is that, you know, growing up, my dad was always big on like, yo, if I had the money, I would be here. If I had the money, I would take you guys there. You know, so just hearing those type of things growing up, I was just like, shit, when I get me some bread, man, I'm out. I'm out, man. I'm not really like, I don't need multiple cars. I've had the same car for 7 years. You know what I'm saying? I don't need hella jewelry. Like, that's not where I want to spend my money. I want to spend my money on experiences, you know? So like,
experiences.
Because, you know, and the one thing I learned through traveling.
Priceless.
They're priceless. One thing I learned through traveling is that, you know, wherever you go, you gain new perspective, right? And when you gain new perspective, your mind expands, meaning it can never return to what it once was, right? So now I see the world in this way, and I can never go back to seeing it this way because I've now seen it differently, you know?
So we got to travel more.
You got to travel more. We have to travel more. We have to understand that there's a lot more than what's going on in America. You know,
step out of the box.
We think we be struggling here, and don't get me wrong, but I'm sure we do be struggling, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying none of us know what's going on with any of us, right? So there is hardship all the time, right? But when you get outside the U.S., right, and you see what's going on in Mexico, in like the bad cities in Mexico, the bad cities in Africa, you know, all over the world, there are slums everywhere. People walking around barefooted, you know. I'm sure you know, you Haitian.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what it's looking like in Haiti. You know what I'm saying? So like,
makes you look at your situation a little different.
A little different. A little different. You start to appreciate other things, you know, like the real things that matter in life. So yeah, you got to travel. I love traveling, man. I'm shit. This morning I was talking with a friend about going somewhere else.
The next location.
Yeah, the next location.
Distractions. How do you start those distractions? Because like with all the progression, the steps you've taken forward, you must have ran into some obstacles here and around you that you had to, you know, sleep.
Yeah. Man,
you be in the zone.
There's a few different. For me, it's like finding quiet time, right? And maybe in that quiet time, it's reading or listening to an audio book, or maybe it's just silence. But every time I'm able to disconnect, I'm able to put in the forefront of my mind what's like really important, right? And when you know what's really important in your life, you understand where the distractions are and what they may be and where they may be coming from and how to avoid those, you know? So it's like, if I'm studying for something, right? Let's just say I'm studying to gain another certification or something like that, right? And I need to be locked in for the next 4 weeks. Well, I know going out and hanging out with my friends, you know, that's a distraction for me. It's going to take me out of that mental space. And although I may need a mental break for a moment, right, I know what's going to happen when I go out, right? I'm not a square, you know, so like I'm going to have me a drink, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to have me a drink or two. I'm going to have some fun, you know, and when I do that, it's an easy way to escape, but it's also an easy way to forget about what's important, you know? And so when you're doing those type of things, sometimes like, as people, we can't make everything. I think sometimes we feel like we got to be so committed to our friends and to other things that we lose sight of what's important for us, you know? Sometimes it's okay. It's okay to miss out on the event. It's okay. There will be another event. It's okay to miss out on the party. There will be another party. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, I'm able to find those moments in silence, you know, or in private time.
You take that time out daily or how?
Daily. Oh. Daily. So for me, so I get up at 6 a.m. every day, right? I don't have real work that starts until 8 a.m., right? But for those 2 hours, one, because I live with my girl, so I have to be a boyfriend at home too, right? So those 2 hours in the morning are for me, right? My personal time. I get up, I pray, right? Meditate, may read, I may just sit in silence, right? Whatever it is, just to calm the mind for the day.
Locked in.
I'm locked in. That's how I start.
6 a.m.?
6 a.m. every day.
around what time you go to sleep? You don't mind me asking, like, how much sleep are you getting?
Lately I've been doing good. Like last night I was in the bed by 10. The night before I was in the bed by 9:30. You know,
Man, you're not playing around.
But this is a good week for me. This is good, but late, like, it's not good. It's not good. Sometimes I get in the bed by midnight, you know, and
That's late.
that's late. I'm up at 6, you know. I'm up at 6, and I may have an opportunity to catch a quick hour power nap at some point throughout the day, but sometimes I don't. So, like, I'm trying to do much better on getting to bed sooner so I can have better recovery, so I can perform better.
Okay.
Because it's all about
Recovery and
performance.
performance.
It's all about performance. Even if you're not an athlete that's competing, everything is about performance. Like, it's about how your podcast is performing. That's what's gonna make people listen to it, right? But before that, it's about how they shoot it, right? Right? How they edit it. You know, everything is about performance, right? So, how can I perform better? Shit, I gotta recover more. I need better recovery. You know, and that's not even just for working out. Mental recovery too. If I'm at the computer crunching numbers all day because I'm working on finances, shit,
Especially mental.
I only have a certain amount of hours where I could push it. After a while, even if I'm gonna crash. No, none of us are superhuman. You know, you need to recover mentally, physically. You know,
I respect the process.
Yeah.
But like, could you let the audience know? I want to know. But I notice you're a humble dude, and you're like serious, but staying humble, and the people around you are humble. How do you do it?
I mean, I've been cocky before. You know, I've been
There's a time and place.
I've been a cocky ass kid. But you know, cocky is really arrogant. You don't want to be arrogant. You know, so you be confident. But I think when you're confident, it's easy to be humble, right? Because you're confident. I don't need to boast or brag. I'm confident, fam. I don't need to. You know, the people
when you're confident, it's easy to be humble.
It's easy to be humble
like
when you're confident. But when you're not confident, now you got to boast a little bit.
Stuff.
Now you got to do these other antics,
Okay.
right? Because you're not confident, right? Anybody's confident, shit, I'm not tripping, fam.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. It's love, bro.
It reveals some truth.
Absolutely. Either way. So, yeah, I think my confidence is something I've been working on my entire life, right? Whether it be from my physical appearance or sharpening my mind, you know, or knowing where to be, you know, or being someone that people could count on. Like, all of those things build my confidence, you know. So, I think we're all, you know, directly or indirectly working on our confidence every day. Yeah. You know, we're all trying to become more
being
confident.
challenged every day as well.
Yeah. But with those challenges, even if you don't overcome the challenges, you still gain more and more confidence to go back and do it again.
True.
Right?
It's a win.
That's a win. And that's a win. So you could take that's a lesson, you know? It's a lesson and you apply it for your next time up at.
Guys, you heard it from the man himself. You know, Omar Bolden. I'm going to put down his links in the description. Also, definitely check out Nice and Neat podcast.
Please.
With Duke, Jalen, Omar, and
yes, sir.
Please comment down below. Share some feedback about the episode, guys.
Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe. Anything else you want to leave the audience with?
Nah, man. Yeah, you guys just make sure.
Right
you guys just make sure you give Max some great reviews on his podcast. What are you live on? Are you on YouTube?
YouTube and all the other audio podcast platforms.
Yeah. So since I know, because we just got live on ours, man, make sure to write some reviews on the podcast app for Max. Give him 5 stars so he could get some recognition and get featured on the playlist that features podcasts on the homepage, man. I think that's important for all of us. We're all trying to push our brand, you know, and we get that from the help of the viewers and the listeners. So yeah, anything that y'all could do to help boost this podcast,
big ups.
I'm trying to
Much
encourage.
Respect.
Yeah, likewise.
We'll definitely push each other, my brother.
Yeah, love,
it's a
bro.
pleasure. Love.
Yes, bro. Likewise.